Hey folks, welcome to Nintendo Enthusiast Radio. Today we've got me, guest host, Jonathan Harrington, aka Jono. We've got Sean Long.
Yo!
And we've got Eli Pales.
Hello.
Today we're going to be talking about whether or not there has been a gaming drought for the past several months, as well as whether or not going forward they can avoid that and how their release schedule will play out. So, first of all, Elia, what do you think?
So personally, I feel like Nintendo did go through a little or another gaming drought in the last 2 months. Definitely not nearly as bad as last year by any means. But still, if you look at this first half of the year leading up to July, this whole first half of the year, we got two major first-party games. We got Donkey Kong and we got Mario Kart. Mario Kart doesn't come out until the 30th of May, so then we had Donkey Kong. Don't get me wrong, both games look really, really good. I played Donkey Kong, that was amazing. Mario Kart I've played, looks really good too. But I felt like there was another drought coming along. Now, Sean's going to chime in with this point next. There have been tons of indie games, and there have been tons of, you got smaller games like Nintendo NES Remix. Which I'm sure, Sean, you could probably bring up.
Yeah, gaming droughts to me are more of a the media term. You had Child of Light and NES Remix 1, NES Remix 2. You had a ton of indie games. You had Unepic, which was phenomenal. You had, even something as random as Pure Chess. I enjoyed Pure Chess, and I'm an idiot who doesn't know anything about chess. You had Block Drop U, which was a fun little diversion game. Gaming droughts to me are just weird because it's not like everyone buys a new game right when it comes out. Did you buy Deus Ex? Did you buy Splinter Cell? Did you buy Assassin's Creed? Did you buy the new Batman game? You played all those and you beat all those already? The average person hasn't. So, to me, gaming droughts are, while the Wii U has had too many, gaming droughts are almost kind of good because it allows you to catch up on, backlog stuff. And as far as what's going on in the future, I think we'll see a lot of stuff this year because Nintendo kind of knows that if they want the Wii U to be more successful, they need to have more games come out for it. I think Hyrule Warriors, I think we'll see a fall release. Smash Brothers is already winter. They've already said. I think my dark horse is Bayonetta 2. I think we'll see that probably July. In my opinion, I think that'll be a late July, early August title. There's still Monolith's X, which I think we're going to see a lot more from. And the thing of it is, we still don't know a lot of what Nintendo is doing. Nintendo is being secretive as usual, for better or worse. But they could just pop up and be like, "Oh yeah, we've been working on this. It's coming out in 2 months," which they seem to do. And the NES Remix games are kind of proof of that. Nobody knew anything about the NES Remix games, and then all of a sudden they did a direct, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, we're doing this game. It's pretty cool. It's coming out in 2 months or a month." And people are like, "Wow, that's awesome!" I think they're smarter than they're leading themselves out to be because they sort of have to be in order to stay relevant. Jono, what do you think of the drought?
Well, I kind of agree with you as a consumer myself. I definitely have had enough to play over the past few months, personally. But on the other hand, the average consumer, the average player, when they look at release schedules and they see major first-party and third-party releases and they only come out once every 3 months, that's not a whole lot to inspire confidence in a product, especially one that's $300 plus dollars to pick up unless you get refurbished. But again, it's about knowing how much crap. Well, it's a lot of players, most consumers don't know that much, frankly. Maybe a couple million, maybe more than that, and most of those aren't huge on Nintendo. So to convince all those moms at the store and all those gamers who aren't huge on Nintendo, to convince them you have to release a ton of amazing games. And we might start to see that with Mario Kart, with all these games coming out, with Mario Kart, Bayonetta, X, Super Smash Bros. And hopefully we do. But right now, what we've seen so far has not been enough to convince the masses.
Yeah, well, I think Nintendo originally planned for third parties to be there through and through, like when EA and Ubisoft, they all pledged support of the Wii U at the very beginning. I think they planned for them to be there when they needed help, and then they kind of bailed, which is why I think Nintendo was left in this position. Because if you look at, say, the other consoles, such as if you look at 360 and PS3, they have not really had any first party support in this first half of the year, but they got Thief, they got South Park, they got they got which are Dark Souls 2. Those are just 3 games that have come out in the first 3 months. Like they at least had some sort of AAA game there every month. Um, Watch Dogs in May, and they definitely did not have a loaded year, but at least something a little more. And I think Nintendo was originally banking on those third-party games. Now, as for the second half of the year, I mean, it's looking really promising. You've got Hyrule Warriors, Bayonetta, both are going to be out before 2014. I agree with Sean. I think we'll see Bayonetta late July, early August. We'll see Hyrule Warriors probably late August, early October. I mean, what am I saying? Um, well, September, probably around September, we'll see Hyrule Warriors because we know both of them are almost done. They're both going to be in Japan this summer. Then for the back end of the year, you'll probably get Smash and X in December slash November. I don't know. They might even throw Yarn Yoshi in there because that looks. I mean, that was a year and a half ago last time we heard about it, or over a year ago last time we heard about it. Probably made some good progress by the end of the year. That might be done as well. First half next year, we'll probably get Shin Megami X Fire Emblem. We'll probably get, I don't know, Zelda will probably be the end of next year. But, they'll probably announce something new at E3 as well. Wii U looks pretty good after this summer, but this first half of the year was kind of not very good. And indie games, don't get me wrong, the Wii U has a lot of them. And the Wii U fans and buyers like us, we're all supporting indies pretty well. But I don't think that it's enough for, as John said, the soccer mom who might not know that Uneped came to the Wii U eShop, or whatever there is. She might be looking for the bigger games. That's kind of my opinion on the whole situation. So yes, I think we went through a gaming drought, and I think there's a really good quote that someone pulled out that said, "A gaming drought's a gaming drought. I mean, a drought's a drought. If someone can make the water last longer, then that's good for them, but a drought's still a drought." And that kind of relates to this because Sean might have a backlog. He might have to beat Deus Ex, although I think you beat that last year already. You might have these games ready, and everyone has a backlog. But to the average Joe who might not have a backlog and is looking for a new game to buy, and he sees a large, gap between Mario Kart and Donkey Kong, he sees the drought. Whereas we might not because we have so much other stuff to play. So
Yeah, that's true. One thing is that Mario Kart is going to put people are kind of sleeping on how important like Mario Kart is going to be as far as saving the Wii U or whatever people like to say. But the last Mario Kart that was a console release sold 31 mil, I believe, and people will say, "Oh, it's because the Wii had a big install base." But people are buying Wii U's to get Mario Kart. Like, you can go on a forum, you can ask. Like, I got 3 friends buying the Mario Kart Wii U bundle. I lived with one of the guys for a year and a half, and like he would watch me play Wii U. He'd play a little bit, but he didn't have any interest on it. Now he's all hype about it, like, oh, I gotta get this. I bought the pre-order, and Nintendo's doing really well with that to get the Wii U in people's hands because you're getting a free game along with Mario Kart 8, along with the system for $329. Or even if you just buy Mario Kart 8, you're getting a free game, and it's not a bad. They're good games. So I think that will help boost. Because really, the reason why EA and all these companies left is because whether people want to believe it or not, like Microsoft and Sony pay for exclusives. So like that way they can get, they can keep the third party support going. Nintendo doesn't do that, and a lot of the companies don't like that.
Well,
Whereas,
it's also because of the install base, of course, because then
of
third
course,
are like, I mean, if the Wii U had sold 50 million units, or well, not 50, but if it was selling on pace with the PS4, and it had an install rate, or not install rate, what am I talking about? But games attach rate of equal to PS4, then the third parties would be looking at the Wii U as a viable platform. But since, I mean, the Wii U's install rate is, or attach rate is really good, we're buying lots of games. The problem is there aren't very many Wii U's out there.
and I mean, and that's true, but you also have to look at it like this, like with the whole Take Two thing. They were like, oh yeah, Nintendo's an important business partner. No, you're peeing on my leg and then tell me it's raining. You released NBA 2K13, which was decent, had the cool mechanism with the gamepad where you could like hold it up to the screen and see like your hot meters and whatnot. But the actual game itself was not that good. Like I play a lot of basketball games. I have all my 2Ks on 360, and like frame rate in the Wii U version was not nearly as good as the 360 version, and so of course I'm going to choose the 360 version over the Wii U. But then they didn't even make 2K14 for the Wii U. So to me, it's like it's a sports game. Like that's the kind of thing you should throw out there to test the waters. And they did that with the launch, but to not follow it up, it's kind of like what are you talking about? And the same thing with EA. Mass Effect 3, cool game, great, I loved it. I actually bought it. That was one of my launch titles. I played the hell out of it. I really wasn't a big Mass Effect fan until I played that. But at the same time, the average person wasn't going to buy that because they had they came out with a bundle for PS3 and Xbox 360, and it was like $30, or I don't remember how much it was, but it was less, and you got two Mass Effect games instead of one. So why the hell would with the average person? I just wanted it because I wanted to play it on the Wii U. But why would the average person want that? Because I mean, this is bad business. So of course, the third parties. I always get so off topic. Of course, the third parties are going to leave because they just they don't really try. And I understand it's a business at the end of the day, but bringing it back to the game droughts, PS4, you had Infamous. What else is going on? Have I missed something? Because like everything else, I could play on the 360 or PS3 that I got, and it's like, to me, I mean, Infamous was it was a cool game on PS3, but as far as the killer app, like I don't know, like the Xbox One and the PS4 seem to be having a bigger drought than their drought right now is like what Nintendo's was last year in the first half of the year, where there was like nothing.
Yeah, no, I don't get me wrong. I completely agree with you on that front too, because I mean, I own a PS4, and the only retail game, or two retail games I own for, are Assassin's Creed 4, and then I bought Infamous just because I hadn't played it in so long. Um, or played PS4 in so long. So then I bought the Child of Light as well for PS4, but I mean, pretty much you're right. The PS4 is also has a pretty bad has had a pretty bad drought, but at least it's got stuff. It's got some third party support in the future, and of course, it's got a lot of hype behind it, so it kind of loses some of that negativity. But I completely agree with you, Sean. The PS4 is way worse drought right now than even the Wii U, because the Wii U has had at least two exclusives in this first half of the year. The PS4 has like nothing. So or other than Infamous. So I get where you're coming from as well on that front. It's just if the Wii U, or if Nintendo did a better job at maybe at least drawing out the life of Donkey Kong by more commercials through these few months to make it seem like there's a new game or something, uh,
Sure.
they would they would have at least captured our attention and kept it with this one game. But they kind of let that. They marketed it for 2 weeks and then it kind of stopped. So, although hopefully this new Mario Kart effort will be pretty good. So
Sure.
I guess that's where we stand on this little, you know, whether there's a drought or not. And make sure to let us know your thoughts, whether there was a game drought or whether you had tons of stuff to play. And more importantly, where you think Nintendo will be placing its titles, lining up for the rest of the year and even into next year. Stay tuned, of course. We'll have your E3 coverage on NintendoEnthusiast.com. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next time.